and the same student talking to his teacher, to his friends, to a businessman, or in a business setup, or at an office, at a workplace. So these are all role relationships where we talk about. Sometimes we are in a formal situation, sometimes we are in informal situations, and then that makes the communication authentic. Sometimes it is governed by topic or the occasion, what we are talking about, what the subject is all about, whether it is about chemistry or it is about normal kind of communication. And then it is a topic of what is the topic, how this topic is going to make a difference in communication, what is the occasion, right? For example, I'll tell you that you when we used to study in our high school days also, how do you do, this is an expression, and that was an answer by we used to say how do you do, and then how do you do. But you see, in a business setup, when you say how do you do, it has a simple answer, fine. Now this, people might question that which one is the correct one. There is the point that when you how do you decide this correctness? We never decide the correctness in these terms. We decide that which part of the communication is appropriate to which occasion. That is more important, and that makes the communication very authentic one. That how do we decide? We do not decide by saying that this is the correct line or this is the correct expression. This might be correct in one situation, may not be correct in another situation, right? And we have often confused communication with a kind of a linguistic based communication, right? We have often confused with that once we are able to produce grammatically correct sentences, that is only communication. But grammatical correctness plus something else is required. What is that something else? So this discussion is all about something else. What are those parameters? Like, as I mentioned you, that that language varies. So it varies according to social class, according to regional uh, conditions, local conditions, and it varies by subject, it varies by discipline. And then you have a different kind of communication in different situations. For example, the way we are communicating in online classroom mode right now is different from the classroom when we have offline mode, when we are physically meeting the students or you are meeting the students. You can realize what is happening there. So many variables come into operation here in online mode. Or sometimes when you are writing a material in distance mode, what happens, right? You want your learners who are going to read your materials, that there is some teacher implicit in this material, self-learning materials. So teacher is implicit, teacher is talking to, as if there is a teacher in the textbook who is talking to his learners about a subject. Now there is a change of communication because it is a distance learning situation. So is the case of classroom communication, where you have a total proximity to so many variables. It's in your control, and something that is where you can see, when you can observe a person, and then communication varies, right? But in case of online, again, there are so many things that we are restricted by certain choices in online also. That is one aspect. The second important aspect is that, which I was mentioning you, that when we are talking about context, what is that context? Uh, it can be very important thing. For example, social context in which we communicate all the time, and we tend to produce socially appropriate language. So when you say uh, thank you your colleague, and when you say the same thank you to a businessman in a business type of situation, so there is a difference of that meaning. Business thank you is different from a normal thank you. Now look at the word thank you, it has got the same meaning, but connotations are different. So this is where the role of interpersonal communication comes into operation. That the operative part of interpersonal communication is that it makes the situation communication very authentic, by way of voice modulation, by way of tone change, non-verbal cues, by way of understanding who is the person, what he is supposed to do, what is his role, what I am supposed to talk to him, when I am going to talk to him, why. So all those WH factors come into operation then. That is where, and then you see the empathy factor is there, listening factor is there. Uh, and you see, when you say a listening factor is there, then there is a very important, a very important understanding about listening. That sometimes we say that we are listening to reply to you, but Stephen Coy says that most of the time we only listen to reply. We do not listen to understand. Now this is where the interpersonal communication comes into operation. So and when you say that, well, this goes by role relationship. Again, the same text is communicated with the students, the same text is communicated with your colleagues, there will be a difference of meaning, right? So it's because of meaning relationships that is important. There we have this notion of, interpersonal communication. That it is something really, it involves some kind of relationships between the participants. That who, whether it is a teacher-student relationship, it is a friend-to-friend relationship, or it is a very formal kind of relationship, right? Or it differs from business kind of communication to a non-business kind of communication. And the topic also matters, what kind of topic that we are doing. For example, a journalist who is dealing with the issues of, you know uh, cultural issues, for him the topic would be a different. Whereas a sociologist who is talking about cultural issues, he will be talking with the same, not with the same tone. Probably he will be talking in depth, and he'll use more technical terms, maybe some more important concepts, right? Whereas journalist is bound by certain space and format, so he is supposed to deal the issue in a very different terms. He has to make things very simple, and probably I would not say non-academic, but definitely he would not like to see that his text is overloaded with those technicalities. So he has to lessen that load. So when you have these kind of situations, right, that text becomes meaningful only when we say that who is the user of the text, who is the consumer of the text. For example, look at this line. Uh, can you reach the salt on the dining table? You are there. But there are so many ways that you can say the same thing. Salt, please. Or can you pass on the salt? But who is saying to whom? Now, this is important. So there, what kind of communication is appropriate to, right? A salt. Just you say salt. So who is saying? Maybe friends are there. Just one friend says to just salt. He may not be adding please. But there is someone who is not known to you. He can just say, can you reach the salt? That is making it very formal. So this is one aspect, right? That we are governed by choices, and choices are related to relationships, empathy factor, listening factor, right? These are the factors that and therefore this, when it happens in verbal medium, there is also a non-verbal medium also, that when pause and people keep quiet, that is also a kind of communication. No response is also a kind of a response. So I hope I am able to make my voice clear to you, all of you. Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
yes, and
Audible,
look at
sir.
the communication. When somebody says that it is a choice, I think that's a bad idea. Instead of say that somebody says that uh, I don't think that such a good idea. Now here the choice is there between who is going to use what kind of expression. The same meaning is the same here. Because people by courtesy they may say that they may avoid this kind of expression. I think that's a bad idea. But this is not a wrong sentence. Again, there might be a user of the same sentence in a different situation, but there is another choice to this sentence. I don't think that such a good idea. Now this is a more a courteous kind of statement. uh, so what happens, that where to use what kind of statement, and what kind of statement will generate what kind of meaning, and who is my uh, taker, or who is my user of my language, and in what situation it is, that defines the appropriacy of meaning. So we are authentic communication means exactly what I mean to say, that the topic that is interpersonal communication. Why it is interpersonal communication? It it is going to make your communication um, authentic one. And what is that authenticity in communication? There are other factors that is not simply grammatical. When we say sorry, for example, or when we say no, so no has got door. There are different ways to say no, right? There are different ways to say no, but people avoid saying directly no. And some in some culture, people say it directly no. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that work. In some ways, there are ways of saying no. For example, Americans, I'm giving you an example. Americans, when they speak to each other, they say, let's get together sometime. What is the meaning of this sentence? Anyone who is here, can you join me for this discussion? Anyone from you? Hello, participants. Let's
Yes, sir.
get together sometime.
Let's
This is
meet
the,
Let's
and
meet or
discuss
spend
about
Let's meet
time
and
for
discuss
together one day.
on a particular
We
topic.
will talk about it later.
yes, we can
It's a
talk about
friendly
open.
invitation, sir. It's a friendly invitation.
Is it a friendly invitation? Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Or
Let's meet or
we
spend
can
time
talk
together
about,
one day.
no, no, or it is just like avoiding the person. Or it,
Either way, sir. Either ways.
yes, either ways.
Maybe.
Because,
Either ways.
because
It
that's why
depends on the person to
So in
person.
yes,
either
it
ways.
depends upon the person to person. And
it
especially
depends
Yes,
in
on
sir.
American
situation
culture,
also.
when you say let's get together sometime, it means we are shifting the topic. But that's not
Yes,
there in
sir.
the
It's we
Japanese culture.
avoiding the topic as well.
Yes, we are avoiding the topic, we are avoiding the person, or let's do
Depending
lunch.
upon the
Now
situation.
you have not mentioned let's do lunch, right? You have not mentioned lunch at what time, today, tomorrow, anywhere, and then the conversation ends there. Let's do lunch. Now there is nothing wrong with this sentence like let's do lunch or let's get together sometime. It's a perfectly correct sentence, right? The correctness is not an issue here. What is important here is that people must know as who is going to use this kind of sentence and what is the meaning in what situation. So for Americans, they understand that the matter has to be shelved for some other time, and that's why somebody is saying let's. But for Japanese and Indonesians and Malaysians, this they and for Chinese even, this sentence is taken very seriously. They when you say to them let's get together sometime, they'll ask directly one direct questions. When it could be, right? So they have not understood the meaning part, that the cultural meaning part that is located in US is different from that of in Southeast Asia meaning. So this is where I was trying to draw your attention towards, that how meaning becomes differential and how it is referential in nature, both. Differential, it has got a different shades, right? And it is referential also. It can refer to some point of appropriacy, and somewhere it will not give you the exact clues. So sometimes it becomes vague to one culture, but it's very clear to other culture. All right. So these were the points that I was trying to make you just put my thoughts across you, that how interpersonal communication, whether it is a written one or it is the one that you have just uh, filled the form, that was just a trigger to make you understand that uh, this is both these kind of situation is available in written form also, or in it also in the verbal form also, the oral form also, whether it is a PowerPoint presentation, or it is writing a letter, or writing a memo, or writing a report, or writing an assignment, or going for evaluating a student's assignment, right? Everywhere these kind of relationships are involved. That is interpersonal factors are involved. And finally, we'll see that when we want to say that, well, there is a sentence here, John killed the tiger. Very simple meaning. And the intruder killed the. Let's look at this another meaning. The intruder killed the tiger, but he did not inform police. What is the difference between sentence 1 and sentence 2 in terms of interpersonal relationships? The first sentence is uh, John killed the tiger. Okay. And the second sentence is, uh, let me put it like this: the intruder killed the tiger, but he did not inform the police. What is the difference between the two? Yes.
In the first sentence, killed means wasted time.
The first sentence is very clear, right? As the
Yes,
second one, that there is some action has been performed by some
yes, sir.
actor, and the process is killing is the
Killing,
process,
yes, both.
and the goal has been
Process of
achieved.
killing is done. Yes.
In second also the same thing happens, but what is the difference between the first and second? Whether it is informing of the police or something else. In the second sentence,
Sir, we can say that the intention is not clear.
no, intention is very clear. In the second sentence, what is happening? The intruder, there is a word intruder. Somebody is from outside, right? He or she has killed the tiger, but he did not inform the police. Eh, Nothing wrong with this sentence? Come on, tell me. Is it clear or not?
Yes, the sentence is
Sir,
clear.
Sentence is
Clear.
correct.
first
Clear.
sentence, John kills the tiger, is a simple factual sentence, sir.
Yes.
Clear cut.
And here, second sentence, is it not factual?
It is, sir, but more information and some more information is being given. He
Both the
informed the
sentences
police.
are factual. Both the sentences are factual.
Both the sentences are factual, sir, right?
Yes. In the second sentence, what is happening here is
In
that
The
why
word intruders.
what he didn't inform about the police. How do you know what is that? What factor is not being mentioned here? That is cultural assumption. In the
Yes,
Yes,
second
yes,
sir.
sir.
sentence,
Yes,
The
sir.
thing
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
after you kill the tiger
he
in
had
any
a
way,
fear.
right? Tiger killing is prohibited, and therefore
Yes,
he did not inform the police becomes the cultural assumption of the
he's scared.
listener or the reader or the user of the sentence.
A sense of suspicion, sir. Here.
Okay, you're right. Sense of suspicion
Yes,
is
sir.
also there, and sense of inquiry is also there, right? Okay, but the point is that you know that tiger killing is
Wrongdoing,
prohibited.
sir. Wrongdoing act. Right? Yes, sir.
Yes,
He's scared of that
He's
wrongdoing.
and
scared of that.
but that
Wrongdoing.
information is not there in the
Yes,
sentence.
sir. Tiger killing is prohibited.
But that
Sir,
you know.
wrongdoing
It
act.
is show. It is
See,
shown
see,
that
my
it is.
point is,
He's scared of the
see,
wrongdoing.
my what is my point here is that tiger killing is prohibited. That you know, right? That
But, sir,
you.
he is hiding the act. Maybe this is
So
wrong.
how do you know that he is hiding the act? Because of your cultural understanding of the situation,
Yes,
that
sir. Yes,
tiger
sir.
He's
prohibition
not
is there.
informing.
Yes,
He's
this
not
is
informing. That
coming
is why
extra to the sentence.
Illegal. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
it's
so,
illegal. He's not
so
informing.
that is where the
Sir,
point
the
is.
introduce,
Yes,
sir,
that
he
is
is
where
not
the point.
following the rules and regulations, the laws.
नहीं नहीं रूल्स रेगुलेशन तो देखिए वो तो आपका वो आपने कल्चरली एज्यूम किया ना.
He's not informing. That is the main thing.
Yes,
He's
sir.
scared of it.
He's not informing, sir,
Informing.
and the
That is it.
wrongdoing act done
Yes,
by
that
him,
is
sir.
why he's scared.
No. This is a cultural interpretation. That is where I am trying to draw your attention to. What he is not informing the police that tiger killing is prohibited, and it is a violation of wildlife act, right? These are all cultural assumptions. So any such communication that we are making, it has a cultural assumption. That is where the point is, right here. So nothing wrong with these two
Right, sir.
sentences. Both the sentences are correct in their own way, but here what is important here is our cultural assumption that tiger killing is a violation of the law of the land, right? Okay, and if something of this nature happens, then the police has to be informed of the event. Are you getting my point, right? So when we use such kind of expressions, right, it has a kind of a cultural assumption factor, which is there in this sentence, right? So interpersonal communication also has the same kind of thing. You see, when a stranger asks anyone, I'm looking for Park Street. So what he's trying to do there, when a stranger asks you on the street, I'm looking for Park Street. So what is the point here? Will you ask the name of the stranger?
No, sir.
No,
We are
sir.
just going to direct
He's just
him,
Yes,
try
you
inquiring.
will direct
to
him.
find
Yes,
the
No, sir.
location,
yes, you will direct him, right?
direct him.
Direct
Yes,
to
for
use
the
the address.
yes. But uh, instead of that, the same stranger or the other stranger asks you, or there is another sentence, where is Park Street? So what is the difference between these two sentences? I'm looking for Park Street, and where is the Park Street? Both the
Where
sentences
is the
carry the
Park
same meaning.
Street? A stranger does not know the actual destination.
In both the
And I'm
cases,
looking for the Park Street means he is little bit confused
no, the
related to
meaning
the
is the same.
destination.
Sir, actually, one sentence is informing and other is asking.
No, no, meaning is
Sir,
the same
Sir,
Meaning
in
in
the
is
both the
same
same.
sentences.
sentence, he is asking
Meaning
a
is same.
question.
Same. I'm looking for Park Street, and
Hmm.
where is
so it
Park
is,
Street?
yes, sir, it is same. In both the
Same meaning.
cases, he is asking for the address.
He's asking
Where,
for the Park Street. But
yes, where
why is
talks
this
about the
expression?
places.
Why sentence one is different from sentence two?
Sir, first sentence, I am looking for Park Street, is very polite and indirect. And sir, where is Park Street? It's a direct question. Where is it?
So directness and indirectness is the issue here. And
Yes,
directness and
sir.
indirectness is a matter of cultural variation. It is a matter
Yes,
of
sir.
Yes,
indirect.
sir.
For example, when you say,
Yes.
where I'm looking for my pen, my folder, or my mobile, right? So you are indirectly requesting the person concerned that can you help me to locate my mobile or something like that. So, but when you
Yes,
say
sir.
uh, that kind of a direct, so it is a kind of a request that varies from culture to culture. So these are the meanings that are implicit in terms of our communication. So communication is just not a straight loaded facts with sender sending something and receiver receiving the same thing. That notion has been uh, modified. It has been updated with so many other variations that we are talking about, right? Okay. Okay. So the users exchange meanings in different socially constructed ways in a socially situated context. That is the idea of interpersonal communication. So when we are writing letters to our principal or to our chairperson or chairman or to the registrar or to the vice chancellor, the same kind of meaning operates. That what is there to be written, how it is to be written, what should be the format for the letter, what is the prevalence of that format here, how it is to how subject is to be written and how reference is to be written, right? And then you attach the enclosure also, and for the reminder also you attach the same letter which you got it, right? Some query is being made to you, and then you add the same letter also so that the authorities do not waste time in locating original letter. So this is the culture. So sometimes written communication also is guided by a specific culture different from that of letter writing. For example, letter writing in an American context is different from that of uh, Indian context. Now, for example, I'll give you another important example that that this example came from the LinkedIn, and there is Alison Green who was editor of you see where people were attending interviews. So after attending the interviews, they wrote a thank you note to the interviewers. But Alison Green says that that thank you note is not enough. You have to convert it to follow-up notes. Means you should maintain multiple communication with your interviewers as how your interview went on, what was the feedback, how will you build up your communication hereafter, right? All these things. Now, this notion of thank you notes to follow up notes, right, is very different now, right? That means you are asking your interviewer how you have done in the interview, what are the changes you would like to see in yourself, and a kind of a reflection, and how you can handle those issues. So, you see, these are all ways to meet the multiple people in a multimodality fashion, in a fashion where you are using LinkedIn, you are using mobile, or you are using social media communication. It could be Facebook, it could be any other device that you are using. And there are written messages, there are verbal messages, you are calling also, and then you make a combination of these things where you say that use the term multimodality, right? One time you are sending email also, the other time you are on the WhatsApp also cross-checking the facts, and then you are on the interview also, that you are messaging also. So when you are doing all these things, you try to reach them all in every different possible ways. This is also a communication. So this is where the new communicative practices have come into picture, that people are just not communicating only by phone. They are communicating on WhatsApp, they're communicating on email, they're writing formal letters also on email, right? And they're uh, using hard copy also, print copy also. So many different ways. Yes. Yes. So these are the ways that where you try to work out with issues in communication these days. And if you have uh, uh, if you have seen that form, if you have filled up that form, there was what were the questions that that has helped you to foresee this point? Can you recall any one question in the Google form? Yes. Can you recall one question from the Google form? Any one of you, one question.
Sleeves forward color.
Hello.
There was a question related to uh, communication in social
Whether the communication is
perspectives.
social,
Do you feel problem in communicating with the people, different social groups?
social groups, yes.
Yes,
That was
this is
one. This is
वो मेरे लिए
where
बहुत ज्यादा टिपिकल भी था वो वाला क्वेश्चन.
Acha, why it was typical?
Sir, while communicating with different social groups, we face problem like cultural misunderstanding may also be there and emotional barrier. कभी कभी ये लगता है कि मैं किसी के भले के लिए कोई बात कह रही हूँ, हो सकता है सामने वाले को वो बुरी लग जाए. So
Yes,
when we feel
yes.
like this, na, तो we are very much, stuck in problem कि whether we have to
Communicate or not,
communicate with the
or
person
not.
or not. ये
Not,
वाली चीज.
yes. So there are
जी
social
sir.
barriers. Sometimes it is a
Yes
social
sir.
nature, and sometimes it happens in academic places also. When you have to
Exactly sir.
meet registrar or vice chancellor, and they tell you just speak. I have got only 2 minutes for you, so please state all your facts. Sometimes it becomes very difficult also, isn't it? Did you notice
Yes
somewhere
sir. Yes
this
sir.
kind of
Yes sir.
Yes,
situation
sir.
happens? That
Yes.
sometimes you are not able to communicate the entire problems that you are facing, and with so less of a time given to you, right? And
Yes
because
sir.
of the situation that you are at, going to the highest office of the university or to the highest office of the any place, any institution, to any such authorities, right? Highest authority. So you become so tense, right?
Yes
And
sir.
you are not able to complete
We
your
have a
points.
fear
Clear
whether we
some,
are able to communicate ourselves in a
yes,
nice manner or
yes,
not,
nice manner and effective manner or not, and we
effective
don't have
manner or
much
not.
time, right?
But
So
actually,
this
sir, in these places there are specified technical languages that are used, like we can say jargon. तो
true, true.
language के मामले में तो problem नहीं हो सकती, but
नहीं,
उस
लैंग्वेज
प्रॉब
देखिए, लैंग्वेज के
yes
प्रॉब्लम है, प्रॉब्लम लैंग्वेज की नहीं है प्रॉब्लम.
yes बस
प्रॉब्लम ये है कि
communicate
आपको
करने की जो fear है.
कम्युनिकेट आप कैसे करेंगे. जब आप कम्युनिकेट करने में जाती हैं तो वो जो आपका समझा हुआ लैंग्वेज भी है, उस वक्त
वो
जो है
उल्टा
वो
पुल्टा हो
कभी आपको
जाता है
help
जी,
नहीं करता है।
फियर की वजह से जी।
बीच में किसी ने इंटरप्ट कर दिया, बीच में एक सवाल ऐसा आ गया जो कि आपको कहना कुछ और था, आप कह नहीं पाई पॉइंट, वो पॉइंट आप भूल गई, राइट? ऐसा भी हो जाता है, and you
यस
miss
सर,
certain points. So that is where I was trying to talk about that. Sometimes because of the high pressured situation, because of the different setup that you are in, you are not able to complete your facts, you are not able to complete your communication. And it happens because not only that, when you are writing to a person who is unknown, an unknown person and you have some work with him, right? And your application is there, you want some grant, some fellowship, and you have to communicate with an unknown person. And how do you make your case, right? That is also happening in writing also, and compared to a known person, right? So this is also there. Writing में भी ऐसा ही होता है, जितना स्पीच में होता है उतना राइटिंग में भी होता है, खाली उसके नॉर्म्स और उसका कलर बदल जाता है या उसका स्ट्रक्चर बदल जाता है. Things are the same there also. It's very different there also, as what kind of communication is being preferred in that particular format, right? और ईमेल में कितना आपको लिखना है और मैसेजिंग में कितना लिखना है. तो people are conscious about all these formats, all these genres, जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं genres, और उसी हिसाब से फॉर्मेटिंग के हिसाब से आप कम्युनिकेट करते हैं. और कभी कभी हम लोग को सारे चीज को लेके भी कम्युनिकेट करनी पड़ती है. It could be your WhatsApp, it could be your email, it could be your formal letters, it could be your big reports, it could be a summary of the reports they want. आपने 500 वर्ड में कोई प्रपोजल तैयार किया, उसको कहेंगे कि 100 वर्ड में लिख के ले आइए, 50 वर्ड में लिखिए, राइट? अपनी बातें सिर्फ 30 लाइंस में कह दीजिए. कभी कभी फॉर्मेट ऐसा होता है, देखा होगा आपने फॉर्मेट, राइट? So
यस
there,
यस एग्जैक्टली सर।
there we have the role of interpersonal. और कभी कभी फॉर्मल कंटेक्स्ट भी है और कभी कभी इनफॉर्मल कंटेक्स्ट भी है. तो हम आपको ये बताना, एक दो एग्जांपल्स और हम बताना चाह रहे हैं ये, कि जैसे बिजनेस एटिकेट है, और वो एक अलग तरह से ऑपरेट करता है, जहाँ पर इंटरपर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन एक अलग तरह से ऑपरेट करता है. उसी तरह नॉर्मल एटिकेट जो हम थैंक यू कहते हैं, सॉरी कहते हैं, कर्टसी मार्कर्स करते हैं नॉर्मल हमारे वर्क कल्चर में, राइट? तो वहां पर हम डिफरेंट वे में काम करते हैं. वहां पर एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग के बेस पे काम करते हैं कि हमको बिजनेस में जरूरी नहीं कि किसी ने हमसे पूछ दिया हाउ डू यू डू तो हम एकदम फाइन ही कहेंगे. हमने कहा हाँ आई एम फाइन, राइट? या हम कह भी सकते हैं, नहीं भी कह सकते हैं. बहुत सारा हमने उल्टा पूछ दिया उससे हाउ डू यू डू नॉर्मल वे में, बट बिजनेस में जरा सा डिफरेंट हो जाता है, राइट? उसी तरह से टेलीफोनिक कम्युनिकेशन में फिर वो आपके पास वक्त कम रहता है, लोगों के पास, लोग फोन उठाते नहीं है, तो आपको क्या कम्युनिकेट करना है. आपने कॉल किया, किसी ने नहीं पिकअप किया, फिर आपने मैसेज दिया, फिर आपने व्हाट्सएप किया, फिर कम्युनिकेशन आसान लगता है उसके बाद कि यस द पर्सन इज ट्राइंग टू कॉन्टैक्ट मी फॉर सम वर्क और वट एवर इट इज. सो द डिफरेंशियल नेचर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन जो आता है वो काफी वेरी करता है रोल्स पर, the roles that are assigned to us, the relationship that we have with the authorities or the friends and all that. तो अब हम आपको एक चीज पर एक हम आपको एक स्लाइड दिखलाना चाह रहे हैं. जस्ट इफ यू कैन राइट, इसको स्क्रीन पर हम उसको ले जाना चाह रहे हैं. वो है शेयर करना चाह रहे हैं. Can you see my laptop now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
सर अभी तो नहीं दिख रहा।
अभी दिख रहा है?
यस
Yes,
सर
sir.
दिख रहा है.
अच्छा, I'm trying to.
Shared, sir. Shared.
Yes. अच्छा, can you see now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, ये देखिए, ये सेम चीज है. That is where it happened. It was an article written by Karan Thapar, one of the famous journalists. I hope you are reading Karan Thapar also in Hindustan Times. Very, very often he writes. Okay. So Karan Thapar is talking about the same issue here. Okay. And in this situation, he is talking about the forms of address. Okay. फॉर्म्स ऑफ एड्रेस जो अभी हम आपके बात कर रहे थे, कहाँ पर मिस्टर बोलना चाहिए, कहाँ सर बोलना चाहिए, कहाँ मिनिस्टर बोलना चाहिए, कहाँ बाय नेम बोलना चाहिए, राइट? इज दैट क्लियर? कैन यू रीड इट नाउ?
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you see, there are different ways of addressing. वही interpersonal की बात कर रहे थे, right? That's why I'm sharing with the slide, right? Can everyone read that? All जो सारे लोग यहाँ मौजूद हैं, सब लोग क्या पढ़ सकते हैं इसको?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Visible.
sir.
Then I'll start the discussion, right? So
Yes, sir.
देखिए यहाँ लिखा हुआ है blurb में, sir as understood in British English is differential. It would place the interviewee on a pedestal above the interviewer. So yet the assumption of a political interview is that the interviewer and the interview are equal. एक rank relationship भी है यहाँ पर, right? So Thapar says, Karan Thapar, right, that I received a letter the other day raising an intriguing question, and I have decided to reply in public through this column. I notice you have different ways of addressing the people you interview. Okay? Is it
Sir, yes,
possible?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Is
Yes,
it clear
sir.
now? Yes. I notice you have a different ways of addressing the people you interview, it began. Since you call Mr. X or Mrs. Y, others you prefer to use a minister, and then sometimes you use their first names. But I don't think I have ever heard you address them as Sir Y. That is the question here. Now he is answering. He says that there was an interview, he wanted to interview David Weddington, who later became Britain's Home Secretary. In 1983, he was Mrs. Thatcher's Minister of State for Immigration. And it was going to be his first interview, high-profile interview, with a political interview. And his boss, who was Samir, he advised him that never address him with sir. Why? Can you make out now?
Yes, here he is saying to call them Mr. or Mrs. would distance them.
To call Mr.
Mr. and
Weddington
Mrs. would distance them.
or Mr. Weddington or minister,
Yes.
but not sir, because the moment you will call him sir, your
like a
ranking would be
subordinate, sir.
different. Yes, you become a
Yes.
subordinate.
He
And
become
the
a
difference-
subordinate.
and then the difference, there would be a difference of reply also. There would be a difference of reply also. The reason
will-
was simple,
It
sir.
will be
As
more
a,
authoritarian.
yes,
The
he
reply
will be
will
more
be more
authoritative, and therefore he would not get the right flavor for the reasons for which he's interviewing the person, right? So it would be it would place Weddington on a pedestal above the interviewer. Yet the assumption, or is it an illusion, of a political interview is that interviewer and interviewee are equal. So when a journalist is interviewing a person, both are sharing the same page and the same platform, and they are equal. They are treated to be equal. That gives the former the right to probe and differ, because journalists have the right to probe and differ. They make a lot of inquiries about the incident, right? So if they start saying sir, he would be getting a different kind of reply when he says Mr. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. It also ensures you don't hesitate to interrupt or cross question when necessary. Now see, we'll go to the next slide about how to interrupt. So the point here I'm trying to make here is that this is a truly case of interpersonal relationship, interpersonal communication, and authentic communication. Authentic communication is guided by, not by such situations. It is also guided by one of the other factors, as what kind of role relationship is one is enjoying when somebody is in that particular kind of communication. Here, Karan Thapar is a journalist, and as a journalist, he would consider his interviewee as on equal footing. And since he was dealing with a very high profile subject, that subject was that he was also talking about the interview was about changes in British immigration rules which had disadvantaged the Asian community. Sensitive subject. Then it was. So it was bound to get tense, even fraught. It was unlikely Waddington's answers would satisfy my questions. So there would be a kind of situation you might have seen in BBC when Stephen Sakur was the interviewer. He used to rattle his interview, the person who were giving interviews to him, by asking so many probing questions. Have you noticed that? Stephen Sakur, he used to come on BBC channel, Hard Talk. Most of you have seen the shows on Hard Talk. There was a show on BBC, Hard Talk, right?
Yes, I have seen, but
Yes.
not
Yes, sir.
familiar with the
Yeah,
person. Yes.
I'm just giving one example. The Hard Talk was a very nice program. Tim Sebastian was also one of the anchors, and Stephen Secour was one of the anchors. They were all tough journalists who were asking very difficult questions to people coming from different walks of life, who were giving interviews, and they used to make them very uncomfortable, because whatever you are saying on the public front, right? uh, it's not that they were not prepared. The interviewers have done a lot of homework before coming to this position. Are you getting my point? Right? They know all the facts, and then they are asking you questions. And sometimes when you are holding a public office, or you are a responsible person, you have to reply accordingly. Sometimes you hide the facts, but just hiding the facts is not making your job easier. That is making your job complex. Got it? Right. So that was the uneasiness that used to have on people who were going to take the interviews there. And the interviewer was asking questions like Stephen Sakur, or even like Karan Thapar, or Tim Sebastian, all these people on Hard Talk. Of course, these were on Hard Talk, and he was here. Karan Thapar was also conducting one interview on face to face, right? And his guest was, you see, sometimes he used to, Khushwant Singh also used to come on this particular show, face to face. So Khushwant Singh was once interviewed by Karan Thapar also. So the here I am trying to tell you is that how the discussion becomes, how the answers become very complicated. Very responsible answers you have to give as an interviewee. Hence, Samir was concerned my approach should not weaken even in terms of impression, my capacity to ask toughly questions. So the questions that used to be from the journalist side used to be very tough. काफी tough questions वो लोग करते हैं. For example, the issues that goes around in the world of politics, in the world of business, in the world of what is in any such world, right? In social situations, normally the questions are not easy. One. Since then, it became my golden rule whenever I'm interviewing persons in authority, be they ministers, MPs, industrialists, bureaucrats, or dignitaries, or special, I used to refer them as Mr., Mrs., or Miss, right? So, what did we learn in the previous format? That in the formal context is there, you see, पहले हम लोगों ने क्या लर्न किया था अपने हाई स्कूल ग्रामर में, कि फॉर्मल कंटेक्स्ट में हमें मिस्टर बोलना है, और किसी को सर बोलना है, किसी को मिस बोलना है. लेकिन अब कंटेक्स्ट कितना चेंज हो गया, right? Can you recall that when you don't know the name of the people, you address him as Mr. or with his second family name, and sir if you don't know the name, right? But what if, right, he knows the person who is going to interview, still he is not using sir, and still his communication is very appropriate. Did you notice the difference here between,
Yes, sir.
yes, between the
Yes, sir.
grammar
Yes,
of
sir.
Mr. and Mrs. and Miss that we used to study as part of our high school grammar or as part of intermediate grammar of communication, that in formal context we don't know people and we want to show respect, we use titles such as Mr., then Madam, Sir, Doctor, Professor, and Miss is always a safe option, right? Okay. So uh, when you introduce a younger person to an older person, we should use first and last names. Business situations, you have this kind of things, right? Are you getting my point, right? But here the notions have changed, right? You can see that he is using an expression, I'm sorry, that's not right, sir. And instead of saying that, I'm sorry, that's not right, minister. Can you make out the difference of meaning? Hello?
Sir, please repeat again.
Here it is in the text itself. I'm sorry, that's not right, sir. But if you will, you will. He's interjecting. I'm sorry, that's not right, minister. What is the difference in the meaning here?
First part refers to the information not being correct, and second part refers to the fact that ethically he is not providing what should be provided.
Yes, in the first part, see this. Both the sentences are correct. Here, correctness is not an issue. Here, the appropriate.
The meaning, sir.
Yes, meaning.
The meaning it's conveying.
Yes, the meaning in the first part is not right, clear from the interviewer. And in the second part, he is putting the minister on the same on the same pedestal, right? So that he should be authentic in his communication. That is very important, right? So that the authentic communication happens in the second sentence. I'm sorry, that's not right, minister. So the proper way of interpretation happens here. So, and he's probing certain policy level questions or certain decisions that have been taken by him. So I'm inviting the interviewer to share anecdotes from their life, which are designed to reveal their personality, what it's like to be in their shoes. So something you want that the interview should reveal about the situation. And if you do not put him on the same pedestal, he will never reveal. He would be very authoritative. That's why there is a difference of the sentence. So to call them Mr. or Miss would distance them. It would introduce a note of formal separation that would divide the discussion. On such occasions, I'll call my guests by their first names. Now, when to call people by their first names? That is another situation. So he says that when I interviewed them, it's been Javed for Javed Akhtar, Shah Rukh for Shah Rukh Khan, Madhuri for Madhuri Dixit, Sharmila for Sharmila Tagore, and so Vikram for Vikram Seth, and Sachin for Sachin Tendulkar. Here he knows the person. However, things can get a wee bit awkward when I interview people I know well, who are also leading politicians. So normally I'd be required to say Mr. Tharoor, right? To take that an example, except I know him as Shashi. So he knew him as Shashi, and Mr. Tharoor sounds odd. So therefore he is using the term as Shashi Tharoor. That still fulfills the required formality without collapsing into the familiarity of first name terms. Did you notice this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very important point of communication. You see, he knew him as Shashi, and he doesn't want him to address as Mr. Tharoor, according to the previous version, right? So he was more familiar to him. Shashi was more familiar. So he combines Shashi Tharoor there. And what I would never do is to call a minister Piyush or Kapil, even if that's how I know them. It suggests shaminess that's totally out of place in a formal interview. The audience will immediately sense it. So even if he knows Kapil Sibbal as his friend Kapil or Piyush as his friend, he would always address him as minister there. So this is the kind of communication that we were talking about, right? So what now does that answer the question I was posed? Really, it was a playful query, but nonetheless one that I could usually respond to and in the process explain myself. It's your turn to decide if my explanation makes sense. So does it make sense? I am asking you.
Yes, it does, because when we are referring or talking to people, the situation, the concept, and the environment does matter.
Yes, where you are talking about, what you are talking about, that also matters. Political situation is different from that of social gathering situation is different, right?
Sir, it depends upon the country in which we are living.
Yes,
For
yes,
example, if
definitely,
in India
definitely,
we
cultural.
call the people as sir, we cannot
Yes,
call them by the name. My son is in Ireland. When he
yes,
was pursuing his masters,
yes,
his professor he scolded him many times that why do you always call me sir? Take my
yes,
name. And he got a feedback also from his professor that
yes.
that you are a good boy, but you always use the word sir. Because in India, in our culture, we call the people by sir as a mark of
See,
respect. So
see,
I think
see,
the place
see,
matters.
this sir in India is absolutely okay.
Environment matters.
Yes, sir in India is absolutely okay with that of calling his professor as John in America. If John hasn't any objection, if he has no objection, then he can very well call him sir. So there are so many people still in America they are calling to their professor sir, where they don't have any objection. But somebody objects that you just address me by first name, then you have to follow the cultural norm there, right? Let's go to
Sir,
the
calling someone sir might show respect, but not calling them sir doesn't mean disrespect. It means
that.
equality, maybe.
Yes, yes, obviously. That's
They
why.
are equal.
Yes, we are equal also, and maybe he doesn't like to be addressed as sir sometimes,
Yes,
right?
sir.
But that is a part of the culture, right? But in India, normally people understand that we have a different kind of learning, teaching traditions, right? Okay, so sir is quite appropriate here also, but in some institutions also people are addressing, right, but not much in India. 99% cases people address in India as sir only, right? And in even US, in all the institutions, sometimes people do not object. Yes, yes, someone is going to say something. Yes. So this is one aspect, right? So I'll go to the another slide. Okay.
Sir, sometimes proper
Just,
name and surname. Sometimes surnames are becomes very popular like Khans,
hmm,
Tagores,
hmm,
Dastaveez,
hmm.
instead of calling them with their proper name.
That is there, but it depends upon where the culture is, what kind of culture you are in, right?
Yes,
That's the
exactly.
point here. So cultural factors makes the communication very a different one. It's differential in nature. Okay, so the culture of that's the point here. The interpersonal communication is having a different kind of meaning, right? With the interpersonal communication you have a different meaning here. So you need to address not simply as on the show as sir, or simply sometimes not by only by full name, by even if you know the person, sometimes you have to give a formal kind of touch to it as Shashi Tharoor, and sometimes you know the person as Shahrukh Khan, you can say Shahrukh, right? Why? Because that is a celebrity moment. Celebrity issues are not so different from the political issues again. So there, the liberty is taken. That's why he's writing like that. You see, glamour and celebrity status is there, and there are the certain different issues are being dealt. So therefore, he takes the liberty of addressing Shah Rukh Khan as Shah Rukh. Right. That's where you got my point. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Let's
Yes,
move
sir.
to the
Yes, sir.
next slide. Right.
Yes,
Before I
Yes,
invite
sir.
questions, I'll have another slide to show to you. Look at this part. Can you see this another slide?
no,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Just a minute. Oh, oh. I'll share another slide with you. Oh, भाई कभी कभी हम
Yes.
अब नजर आ रहा है
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
on
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
on interviewing and the art of interrupting. Can you see this slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Wasim, by
Yes,
same
sir.
Karan Thapar. Okay. Now again the same kind of situation, but it's in a different something different here. What is the point being discussed here? Please read the slides. Let's read this text.
On interviewing and the art of interrupting.
Whether or not to interrupt, when and why to interrupt.
Hmm. Okay. I am often told I interrupt too much. And then when is interruption unavoidable? Hmm. Please read for just 5 minutes and then we'll again resume the discussion. Okay. Yes. Shall we start the discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
what is the point is discussed here?
The pros and cons of interrupting.
See, interruption avoidable or unavoidable?
Unavoidable
Unavoidable.
most of the times. Or
Interviewer
rather,
must.
in specific situations, yes.
So again,
He's justifying
what
when the interruption is necessary.
interruption is necessary, right?
Yes, sir. He's justifying when it is necessary,
Necessary.
when
Yes,
he
yes,
can't
that is it.
avoid interruption.
Interruption is essential and unavoidable, right? And sometimes also it is important when the answer has no bearing to the question, he writes here in the third paragraph. Okay. So the
Yes,
interviews
sir.
are always time based and you have allotted time for it. So interruption is also necessary to get clarity and remove confusion, right? On the fourth paragraph. So what kind of, is it not a kind of a communication when an interviewer is interviewing someone, right? You
It
see
makes
some kind of
it makes
Yes,
communication is
it
going
is.
it
on.
makes
Yes, it is
communication
a
two-way.
type of communication.
Yes. So when interruption is also necessary to get clarity and it removes confusion, and then more importantly, if a guest is meaning is lost in long-winded or confusing expression, you need to interrupt to clarify. So clarification is also needed, and also needed when the guest is factually wrong, is giving wrong information, and the interviewer
Uh,
must tell the audience that this is the correct one. That's why interruption is important. And interruption, the nature of interruption is the nature of communication here. This is interpersonal. So the
sir,
two
it
both.
also
Yes, yes, please.
it also helps to direct the interviewee towards the right point.
Right point. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Sir,
And
to
then
keep the interviewer focused.
yes, obviously it will make the interviewer very focused one, and the person who is giving interview, he should understand or she should understand that in the given allotted time on this particular subject, because he is a person of a different status to be interviewed or with having a specialization or an expert on the area, he must not, his answer should not be misleading one. So uh, that is where the point is, right? So
Sir, sometimes it helps in removing confusions also.
yes, yes, obviously it is there. It is mentioned there. So This is the mode that it happens at the right time. Interviewer will sense the need to interrupt or for sooner than the audience. And in fact, that's the key to a successful interruption. You must convince the audience it was necessary. The reason for that is simple for them. An interview is a sort of performance. So communication is sometimes a kind of a performance. Sometimes in certain situations, communication becomes a performance. Two people staging a conversation. It is the audience appreciation both seek. If you lose it, the interview will lose its ransom with that. That applies to interviewers as much as it does to their guests. So if you do not know how to interrupt, how to intervene, the interviewer will also lose his flavor of doing proper communication, and it applies to both to the guest, right?
Yes,
Now I'll
definitely.
invite questions, right? I'll invite questions from you as uh, that having gone through um, um, both the text, uh, the forms of address and the interruption and the discussion that we have, I can invite uh, your suggestions, your observations, your questions, whatever it is.
Sir, this is Aisha Khan from ABK School Girls. Sir, I
Hmm.
have a question, a very common question, sir.
Hmm.
And I guess it will help the teachers also over here who are listening
Hmm.
to me.
Hmm.
Why do many people lose confidence in front of authority figures? And sir, how can we train people or students to speak more confidently in such situation?
See,
Why is it, sir, so?
Dr. Aisha, it happens. It is quite
Sir,
natural.
I'm only Aisha. I don't have a doctorate degree. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Oh, so it is quite natural sometimes because of the rank relationships where you use the term rank relationship. It happens that sometimes people lose confidence, but it is important that when you are training your students, do not train with the ideal notions. Go and speak. They just should be the motive. Let them speak wrong English. Let them speak. They must speak first. Only then the confidence building measures would come. We
Right, sir.
prepare them too much. Lot of training. We give them lot of training. Like speak well. You must know how to speak well. You must know your content right. If you are putting this much of pressures on the learner, it is bound. It is possible that sometimes learner may not be performing up to your requirement, up to your expectations. Are you getting my point? Right.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
yes, so if you are training your students, do not train him. Just say that go and speak, and maybe he will not speak anything. Maybe he will use his mother tongue. So do not get discouraged by that. Let them use mother tongue. At least he's facing the crowd, he's facing the audience, and then the second stage would follow. Then what we do, we Indians have we have a lot of expectations from our students, from everything. That just like every teaching situation is like a NEET or JRF examination, right?
Right, sir.
That's not the case everywhere. I hope I have answered your point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
very much.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good
Sorry, good
afternoon.
evening, sir. Sir, my name is Hina. I'm from AVK Girls. Sir, I want to just ask you something, and it is not. It is for me personally. I'm asking because my appointment is through LSC, and
Hmm.
every year I'm facing the interview.
Hmm.
So many times it happens like I do not understand that what questions they are directed towards. So later on, it's my habit that I do evaluate the situation I gone through. So
Hmm.
I keep memorizing the questions what they have asked, and later I realized कि what they wanted me to speak. So at that moment, I was not. So at that time, I feel so much embarrassed and underconfident. Like I know the thing, and that moment I do not understand what they want me to
What?
speak. So
अच्छा,
this
ये तो बहुत नेचुरल चीज है मिस है ना. दिस माइट बी a situation for anyone that sometimes out of pressure situation or we are in a tense situation we may not have understood. तो उसके लिए अच्छा तरीका ये है कि उनसे पूछा जाए, can you sir repeat the question once again? I'm little nervous, right? और उस स्पीच में यू टेक योर टाइम, अपना अपने आप को कंपोज कीजिए उस वक्त, उनसे कहिए कि एक बार आप क्वेश्चन फिर से हमको रिपीट कर दीजिए, क्या क्वेश्चन आप पूछना चाह रहे हैं। अगर ये आप पूछ देंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। हेलो, हाँ,
Yes,
तो
sir. Yes, sir.
आपके पास टाइम रहेगा एटलीस्ट टू कंपोज योरसेल्फ। कभी कभी योर लेग्स
Yes, sir.
शेक व्हेन यू आर इन द इंटरव्यू बोर्ड रूम, राइट?
Sir,
आपका
yes, sir.
हाथ थरथराने लगता है, पैर थरथराने लगता है, इसलिए तो
Yes,
होता है
sir.
कि आप नर्वस हो जाते हैं। और जो हो सकता है इंटरव्यूअर आपसे एकदम सिंपल डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस भी सवाल कर रहे हो, आप चूंकि नर्वस मोड में रहते हैं तो वो सिंपल चीजों को बहुत ज्यादा समझ लेते हैं कि बहुत कुछ पूछा जा रहा
Yes,
है,
sir.
हालांकि
Yes,
बहुत
sir.
कुछ पूछा जा रहा होगा, राइट? ओके।
Yes, sir.
लेकिन आदमी नर्वसनेस में क्या होता है कि जो बोलने की उसके पास जो भी कैपेसिटी होती है वो भूल जाता है या डिफरेंट आंसर देने लगता है, राइट? ओके,
Exactly,
या
exactly.
हाफ आंसर देता है या चुप हो जाता है, राइट? ये सब
Yes, sir.
नॉर्मल कंडीशंस है, दीज आर वेरी नॉर्मल कंडीशंस दैट हैपेंस टू एनीवन। और
Yes.
आप ये सोचिए कि आप ही उस बोर्ड में उधर बैठ जाइएगा तो आप भी ऐसा सवाल पूछिएगा उन लोग से कि वो लोग भी नर्वस कर सकते हैं।
Yes,
तो ऐसे
sir.
ही हम अपने कलीग से एक बात कर रहे थे, तो एक कलीग ने बड़ा टफ क्वेश्चन बना दिया, तो ठीक है, और उसके अंदर कहा कि भाई
Yes, sir.
ये इतना टफ क्वेश्चन बनाया है, ये लड़का के लिए थोड़ा सिंपल क्वेश्चन बन सकता था, कैसे पास करेगा, हम लोग ये सोच रहे थे। तो
Yes, sir.
दूसरे कलीग ने कहा इसका बेस्ट ब्लू लिटमस टेस्ट ऐसे ही है, जैसे उसी टीचर को कहिए कि ये घंटे 2 घंटे में वो क्वेश्चंस कर ले, खुद कर ले, राइट? तो तब पता चलेगा कि क्वेश्चन इजी है कि टफ है। आप खुद बना लीजिए ना अपना, जो आपने इतना टफ क्वेश्चन बनाया है और आप उसको फेल करना चाहते हैं, राइट? आप खुद क्या 1 घंटे में 2 घंटे में कर लेंगे, बना
Yes,
लेंगे,
sir.
कर लेंगे क्वेश्चन। ये यही सेम चीज का आंसर यही सब है। तो जो लोग आदमी समझते हैं कि अरे हम नर्वस हो गया, ये हो गया, हम किसी को बताए नहीं, बहुत नेचुरल है कि आप नर्वस होना बहुत अच्छी बात है। आप उनको वहां बोल दीजिए कि आई एम वेरी नर्वस। यस, हाँ, फैज साहब कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं?
Rashid bhai, the best example
Thank
is
you,
the
sir.
Yes.
IELTS interview
Yes.
speaking test that happens.
Yes.
You see, what happens is that everything is scripted. Examiner acts like a robot.
Yes.
The candidate doesn't know this. Candidate feel like that examiner is here to grill me or, trying to dodge me. That is why there is a fear and apprehension always in the mind of a candidate.
Yes.
जबकि ऐसा है नहीं राशिद भाई, इतना
जी।
स्क्रिप्टेड होता है, आपको भी पता है आइट्स का पूरा जो सिस्टम
जी
है।
जी 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 जी।
लेकिन वो उसमें नर्वसनेस एक नेचुरल है। दिस इज अ नेचुरल थिंग दैट कम्स एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग। एंड द बेस्ट थिंग अबाउट बीइंग नर्वसनेस इज that I remember my PhD supervisor and my PhD examiner said, "Are you feeling nervous?" I said, "No, I'm not feeling nervous. I'm very confident." He says,
Don't
"Nervousness
show.
is a part of confidence. You should feel nervous.
Yes.
If you
No,
know
don't
something,
show that
then
you are
only you."
nervous.
Yes,
नहीं, आप
सर,
शो कीजिए कि आप नर्वस हैं भाई, इसमें क्या परेशानी है?
लेकिन लेकिन
exactly.
सर कॉन्फिडेंट भी तो होना चाहिए।
नहीं,
हाँ,
आप देखिए,
अगर आप बिल्कुल नर्वस नहीं है तो इसका मतलब ये कि आपको कुछ नहीं पता, यू आर ब्लैंक। ये भी है क्या
नहीं,
aspect,
उसमें आई एम राइट, आई गो विद डॉक्टर फैज जैदी, बिकॉज इट इज क्वाइट नेचुरल दैट यू विल बी नर्वस। आप बहुत सारे लोगों का हमने पूछा है लोगों से, और बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा, इंटरव्यू जाके बोल देते हैं कि आई एम बिट नर्वस, आई नीड सम टाइम टू रिकम्पोज माई सेल्फ। तो इंटरव्यूअर्स जो होते हैं, खासकर आइल्स के जो एग्जाम्पल्स दे रहे हैं हम, जो फैज जैदी साहब, उसमें बहुत बड़े, हर चीज बड़ा वेल डिफाइंड है कि आपको सवाल कैसे करना है, जवाब क्या होना है, एक्सपेक्टेड क्या करेंगे, राइट? बड़ा सिस्टम है वहां पर भी। तो हम अपने स्टूडेंट से बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट करने लगते हैं, या अपने टीचर से ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट करने लगते हैं। या जब आपका इंटरव्यू होता है किसी लोकल सिलेक्शन कमेटी के लिए, वहां पर तो ऐसा किया जाता है जिससे लगता है कि अब आईएएस का इंटरव्यू हो रहा है, और आईएएस के इंटरव्यू में भी ऐसा नहीं होता है। मैं आपको बता दूं, आईएएस के भी इंटरव्यू में बड़े नॉर्मल तरीके से आपसे सवाल पूछते हैं। तो कभी कभी ऐसा लगने लगता है यहाँ पर कि अब आईएएस का इम्तिहान भी फेल है। जिस तरह से आप, जैसे हम लोग कभी कभी एंट्रेंस टेस्ट लेते हैं, यहाँ पर 15 बार हॉल टिकट चेक करेंगे, रोल नंबर चेक करेंगे, इधर से बांटेंगे कॉपी को, उधर से बांटेंगे, कभी सर्कुलर करके बांटेंगे, फिर बीच में उठाएंगे और 3 बार फोटो चिपकाएंगे। इतना कहीं नहीं होता है।
तो राशिद भाई,
इतना लड़के में नर्वस हो जाएगा कि नहीं हो जाएगा? आप बताइए, ओएमआर शीट हैंडल कर
Yes,
रहा
sir.
है, राइट?
Yes, sir.
तो लड़का नर्वस हो जाएगा, जो सही आंसर है वो भी गलत करके आएगा।
Yes, sir, you are right.
प्रोफेसर राशिद सर,
जी 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 जी।
आप तो यूपीएससी में जाते रहते हैं, कैन यू प्लीज साइट वन एग्जांपल of a similar situation जो UPSC अभी आप हाल फिलहाल में भी गए थे
जी जी जी
इंटरव्यू लेने के लिए, any good example about being nervous or being confident जो
many
आप share
candidates they come, they report for the interview, or sometimes they, it happens that that sometimes they are nervous, but there the experts know, and there is one person always there in the board who keeps on composing the candidates. So they offer you a glass of water and they'll say that कोई बात नहीं है, आप बताइए, let's change the topic, right? They ask you certain personal questions, कैसे आप आए इंटरव्यू में, right? क्या आपके घर में कौन कौन है, तो टॉपिक वो लोग खुद चेंज कर देते हैं, and then they bring the best of the candidates, right? They best out of the candidates. ये सब ये ऐसे नहीं है, तो वो they assess the candidate in toto, what I mean to say. In spite of that, you have become nervous. Sometimes your name is there on the list. समटाइम्स बहुत अच्छा बोल के आया, बहुत अच्छी अंग्रेजी बोल के आया, लेकिन कंटेंट नहीं है, तो आपका कभी कभी सिलेक्शन नहीं भी होता है. दैट्स द पॉइंट.
Yes, sir.
तो दैट्स द पॉइंट. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है, ऐसा नहीं है कि सब अच्छे बोलने वाले का ही सिलेक्शन नहीं होता है, अच्छे बोलने का भी वाले का सिलेक्शन होता है, कंटेंट रहता है, लेकिन नर्वसनेस इज ए वेरी नेचुरल थिंग एंड लूजिंग कॉन्फिडेंस, ये सब बहुत, दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द गेम. So it is not like that you will not be. There are so many. आपके बारे में बहुत सारा अनसंग क्वालिटीज है. ये हमारे कलीग हैं वहां आपके साथ कर रहे हैं, वो फ्रांस साहब, तो ऑलवेज आई लेबल हिम एज ए अनसंग हीरो, बिकॉज उनकी आवाज बड़ी अच्छी है. आपके कलीग में से उफरान साहब का भी मैसेज आ रहा था, आप ही के में बैठे हुए हैं, तो उनकी आवाज अच्छी है, उनको बोलने का अंदाज अच्छा है. तो अब इसको जो है बहुत लोग नहीं जानते हैं, बहुत अथॉरिटीज नहीं जानती हैं, तो वो नहीं जानती हैं, लेकिन उस आदमी में क्वालिटी तो है. इसी तरह से कैंडिडेट्स की क्वालिटीज को निकालना है, दैट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द थिंग. और उसमें हो सकता है कैंडिडेट नर्वस हो जाएगा, कॉन्फिडेंस लूज करेगा, एक एप्रीहेंशन रहेगा, तो ये थोड़ा सा साइकोलॉजिकल ट्रीटमेंट तो होता है, लोग देते भी हैं.
So Rashid bhai, the point is that standardized नहीं है चीजें.
यस यस ऑफ कोर्स.
Yes.
और स्टैंडर्डाइज हम करने के लगते हैं, राइट, उसमें जब नॉर्म सेट करने लगते हैं, तो ये ध्यान नहीं देते हैं कि हम खुद उस पोजीशन में कैसे थे पहले.
Exactly. Yes.
अब आपको हम अपना एग्जांपल बताया कि फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू व्हेन आई वाज फेसिंग फॉर अरुणाचल यूनिवर्सिटी, राइट, तो that panel consisted of a very eminent Professor Hiren Gohai from Assam. He was then PhD from Oxford, and then the panel was headed by the Vice Chancellor, who was a very senior IAS officer, Mr. Madan Jha, and he was the Education Secretary also. And there was one professor, two experts were there. So out of the 5, when I went for the interview, 7 क्वेश्चंस में तो हमने कह दिया कि आई डोंट नो, आई एम सॉरी, आई डोंट नो. मतलब आप सुन के आपको हैरत होगा. 8वें क्वेश्चन में हम बोलने वाले थे कि अब नहीं हुआ, तब वाइस चांसलर इंटरवीन्ड and said that why are you nervous, you have done your this and you have done this and they, आप नर्वस क्यों? थोड़ा सा उनके बोलने की वजह से हमको थोड़ी सी हिम्मत आई, and I could answer 2-3 more questions. तो ये ऐसा बहुत नेचुरल होता है, कोई ऐसी बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है. और ऐसे हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को ऐसे कर देंगे जा करके बेस्ट परफॉर्म करो, राइट, ये तो इम्पॉसिबल है. कोई भी लड़के को कह दीजिएगा जाके बेस्ट परफॉर्म करो, वो फैंसी शो नहीं है कि आपको सजा उजा करके आप उसको कह के रिपब्लिक डे में पहुंचा दिया आपने उसको, राइट, कि चलो भाई आज ये किसान बन जाओ, आज ये बन जाओ, आज सोल्जर बन जाओ. बेचारा कितना उसकी हालत खराब रहती है उसकी उतना ही में, राइट, थोड़ी देर के लिए. लेकिन जब इंटरव्यू देने जा रहा है, आपने उसका कैरियर है, तो इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट दैट जो हम असेस जब करें, तो ये सब कंसिडरेशंस रहने चाहिए कि लड़का नर्वस भी हो सकता है, लड़की भी नर्वस हो सकती है, नाम पूछने में हो सकता है नाम नहीं बता पाए, अपने पेरेंट्स का नाम नहीं बता पाता है, चुप रहा हो जाता है, बोल नहीं पाता है. एंड वी शुड नो दैट, वी शुड एक्सेप्ट दैट रियलिटी. अपने बच्चे के साथ होता है तो हम छुपा लेते हैं, दूसरे के क्लास में होता है तो हमको ये नजर आने लगता है. That is a reality that we should accept it. Hope I am able to make my point clear to you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
of course.
Yes, Farhad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, what's your question, Farhad Parveen?
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
Dr. Farhad Parveen from ABK Girl.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your expertise. Sir, there is no question, but a few inputs I would like to
Yes, yes,
have here.
yes.
Like uh, in communication, during communication,
Hmm.
there are few things like body language and
Hmm.
facial expressions. They
Hmm.
are also very meaningful. Your
Yes.
facial expressions can express a lot of things without speaking.
Hmm.
And sometimes in social media, I see news channels, so many news channels are there. They
Hmm.
call the guests and they interview them, they ask questions, but they interrupt them in a very rude manner. And
Hmm.
there are
Hmm.
a term is called like Godi media. So
Hmm.
over here, so it is
Hmm.
very much apparent that
Hmm.
interviewers they used to interrupt the guest in a very rude manner, and
Hmm.
as a result, ये होता है कि वो गेस्ट या तो चला जाता है या फिर अपने ट्रैक से हट जाता है.
जी जी
So
जी.
the thing is that we have to be very much clear about the manners of speaking, where we have to
Yes.
speak and how we have to speak.
Yes, yes, I agree. 100% I agree with you that people think that untimely interruption से हम कुछ अपना पॉइंट
Exactly.
बता रहे हैं, लेकिन आप अनटाइमली इंटरप्शन से उस आदमी को अपने ट्रैक से डीमोटिवेट कर देते हैं आप उसको
Hmm.
आप वो आदमी सोचता है कि बेटर टू कीप क्वाइट, बेटर टू नॉट टू से एनीथिंग, राइट, rather than
जी
to go
जी.
for an argument. तो वहाँ लोग आर्गुमेंट भी नहीं करते हैं, और खासकर छोटे बच्चों के साथ तो ज्यादा होता है. कभी कभी आप इंटरव्यू लेते हैं या टीचर्स का लेते हैं, बीच में आप भी इंटरप्ट कर जाते हैं एज ए सिलेक्शन कमेटी के एक्सपर्ट लोग, राइट. कभी कोई चेयरपर्सन है वो इंटरप्ट कर जाते हैं, कभी कोई डीन है वो भी इंटरप्ट कर जाते हैं, कभी कोई बाहर गए, राइट, और कभी वाइस चांसलर हैं वो इंटरप्ट कर जाते हैं. तो उसकी बात हुआ नहीं, अभी फिनिश किया नहीं कि आधा से वहीं से उसको कैच कर लिया, राइट. हाँ, यस यस, आई अंडरस्टूड योर पॉइंट. अब उसको तो दिखलाने का तो यही वक्त है जब उसने तैयारी करके इंटरव्यू में आया, तो उनको पूरा स्पेस देना चाहिए. एज जैसे डॉक्टर फैज जैदी ने कहा कि एक पर्टिकुलर वे, एक तरीका होता है, राइट, कि इंटरव्यू लेने का एक सिस्टम होता है, उसको पूरी अपॉर्चुनिटी दीजिए बोलने का, कम से कम दैट ही और शी शुड बी हर्ड एट दैट पॉइंट. तो अक्सर सिलेक्शन कमिटीज में ये प्रॉब्लम आता है कि सवाल ही नहीं पूछा गया आपसे, या सवाल इतना पूछा गया, सवाल पूछने के बाद भी जो है कोई आपसे एग्री नहीं कर रहा, आपको डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर रहा है. नो नो नो, हियर इज नॉट द पॉइंट, राइट. आप में कुछ तो मेरिट होगा उसको निकालने के लिए, दैट इज द पॉइंट. सो इंटरव्यू तो बेस्ट तभी होगा जब आप उसमें उसके पर्टिकुलर कैंडिडेट के साथ आप इसको पर्टिकुलर वे में आप उसको ट्रीट करेंगे. इट इज ए ट्रीटमेंट, इट इज नॉट ए यू नो 0 या 1 देना है उसको, 0 आउट 1 इन. तो अगर ये वाले इससे होता है तो उसमें आप देखिएगा कभी कभी बहुत अच्छे कैंडिडेट जो हैं जनरल सिलेक्शन कमेटी में अच्छा नहीं परफॉर्म कर पाते हैं. और
जी
लास्ट
जी. Exactly.
तुम्हारा तो परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा नहीं हुआ भाई. आई हैव लॉट ऑफ सिंपैथी विथ यू. उस सिंपैथी अपने इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में क्यों नहीं दिखलाया, बाहर में बाद में क्यों दिखला रहे हैं? आपके पास तो मौका था ना इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में सिंपैथी दिखलाने का, दिखलाइए. आप उसमें खुल के कहिए उसके कैंडिडेट के बारे में कि यू आर ए गुड कैंडिडेट, आपका जवाब बहुत अच्छा लगा. ये अप्रिशिएट करने में क्या जाता है?
The
Exactly,
best
sir.
way,
Exactly.
Rashid bhai,
जी
in earlier times, the
yeah
selection committee, the modus operandi was that candidates were given opportunity to
yes
speak on the topic that they have already prepared.
prepared. Yes,
So the
exactly.
interviewer would say that, okay, what you have prepared? Okay, sir, I have prepared this. Okay, come on. So
Yes,
for 1 or 2 minutes, couple of minutes, the candidate used. Then the interviewer or the panel used to ask
yes,
questions.
true. At least
Exactly. This is a way.
at,
This is
at
a way.
least at least he was given a chance to be heard.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, वो chance आप, ये
Then
प्रॉब्लम यहाँ
follow-up
भी है.
question was asked. Then follow-up question was
Then
asked
follow
or
up
asked.
questions, then you can, for example, in various commissions, right?
Exactly.
Right, in Rajasthan Public Service Commission, I got this opportunity.
At that time, we feel confident.
हाँ,
At that time, we feel confident.
yes. जी
Yes,
शहजाद साहब
राशिद
क्या
साहब.
बोल रहे थे?
जी जी.
कुछ कह
मैं
रहे थे
बोला
आप?
कि फैज साहब बता रहे थे कि what you
जी,
prepare just start doing that. So at that
yes,
particular time, we feel confident
obviously,
and we don't feel nervous. So we
obviously.
perform better.
अब आपको हम मैं बताऊं कि पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन में, खासकर राजस्थान पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन में ऐसा हो गया कि बेचारे कैंडिडेट सब जितने थे वो अपना तैयार कर करके लेके आए थे. अब आपने पूछा कि अच्छा ये नाउन कैसे पढ़ाएंगे, जरा पढ़ा के दिखलाइए. तो अरे नाउन बेचारा तैयार करके कुछ और लेके आया है, और उसको कहा ग्रामर. ग्रामर में उसने आपने कह दिया नाउन कैसे पढ़ाएंगे, पढ़ाइए। तो अब हो सकता है कि नाउन अच्छा नहीं पढ़ा पाए, हो सकता है वर्ब अच्छा पढ़ा पाए। तो हमको ये पूछना चाहिए था कि आप किस एरिया में ग्रामर में कंफर्टेबल हैं, या कौन सा एस्पेक्ट आप पढ़ा पाएंगे अच्छे से, उस पर भी तो असेसमेंट हो सकता है। यही तो
बिल्कुल
कहना चाह रहे हैं, राइट? अब
जी।
वो वहां जो जो चेयरपर्सन थे उस बोर्ड के, एब्रप्ट एंट्री किया और एब्रप्ट इंटरप्शन से कैंडिडेट कई सारे नर्वस हो गए। ये है, ये सारी चीजें कभी कभी हो जाती है, जो कि बड़ा ही अनफॉर्चुनेट होता है कैंडिडेट्स के लिए, और असेसमेंट भी उसी हिसाब से होता है।
राशिद भाई, ये बहुत रिलेटेबल टॉपिक है, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द कैंडिडेट्स सिटिंग हियर और द पार्टिसिपेंट, दे फेस इंटरव्यूज एवरी ईयर।
यस।
हाँ, तो ये न्यूआंसेस
Yes,
जो हैं,
sir.
दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज वेरी रिलेटेबल एंड समथिंग टू पॉन्डर ऑन।
यस,
और हमेशा हमेशा विक्टिम जो इंटरव्यू देने वाला उसी को ही बनाया जाता है, लेने वाला हमेशा। मैं आपको एक छोटी सी एग्जांपल दूं।
मैंने वो जो एग्जांपल है आपका, मेरे कलीग ने कल परसों ये कहा, जब वो क्वेश्चन टफ बन गया, राइट, और उसका नंबर कम आने लगा, तो उसने कहा कि बेस्ट तरीका तो यही होगा कि आप जो है उसी टीचर को कहिए कि इस घंटे 2 घंटे में तुम खुद सॉल्व कर पाओगे जितना टफ क्वेश्चन बना दिए हो।
अब मैं आपको अपना बताऊं राशिद भाई, मेरी जो सिलेक्शन कमेटी थी उसमें ये मुझे अंदाजा हो गया, शहजाद भाई को भी मालूम है, हम दोनों लोग एक ही रिसर्च के एरिया से हैं। मुझे ये अंदाजा हुआ कि पूरे पैनल में ओरिएंटलिज्म के बारे में किसी को कोई नॉलेज नहीं है।
अच्छा।
सबसे पहले मैंने ये असेस कर लिया। एग्जाम्पल, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जाम्पल। नसीम अहमद वो द वाइस चांसलर, और बाय लक ही आस्क्ड द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन अबाउट ओरिएंटलिज्म। वहां से स्टार्ट हो गया मेरा मामला। यू गॉट माय पॉइंट? तो थोड़ा सा कभी कभी चांस और लक भी मैटर करता है। आई पर्सनली फील लाइक कि वो होता है ऐसा।
मैटर तो लक करता ही है, लेकिन नसीम अहमद साहब ने कम से कम ये सोचा तो कम से कम कि आपसे जो सवाल पूछा, ही पेशेंटली लिसन टू यू।
Exactly.
What about I don't want to listen to you, I just want to listen to your reply, but I do not want to understand you. What happens?
Exactly.
That is the Stephen Coy's argument, right? Most of the time we listen to reply, we do not listen to understand.
Wonderful, wonderful,
और ये assessment का part हो जाता है। ये जब आप assess करने जाते हैं तो you must understand the candidate, कि candidate में अपनी intrinsic merit रहती है, राइट? उस मेरिट को आप एसेस नहीं करते हैं, आप क्या एसेस कर रहे हैं, क्या नहीं हो सकता है, इसका एसेस कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसे तो हर आदमी में कमी है, हर आदमी में। अगर आप हमको इंटरव्यू लीजिएगा तो हम भी 1000 सवाल नहीं जवाब दे पाएंगे हर आदमी के साथ, राइट? तो वो ये इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि रियलिटी को समझना, और रियलिटी को समझ करके, और लेट्स चेंज द टेबल्स, लेट्स टर्न एक्सचेंज द टेबल्स। तब पता चल जाएगा, जो लेने वाला है उसी को बैठा दीजिए, कहेगा ये सेम सवाल आपसे हम पूछते हैं, आप जवाब दे दीजिए। लेकिन ये होता नहीं है एक्चुअली। नॉर्म्स में है कि भाई यू हैव टू रेस्पेक्ट द इंटरव्यूअर, राइट? और आप उसके इतने आउट ऑफ इतना रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं, और इतना ये आपका ओवरवेल्म्ड रहते हैं इंटरव्यू बोर्ड के सिचुएशन से, कि आप उसको कन्विंस करने में लगे रहते हैं दैट यू हैव गॉट द राइट रिप्लाईज। समटाइम्स इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल दैट you always give the right replies. You say that I am trying to work out, right? और मेरे ख्याल से हम लोगों को थोड़ा सा चेंज करना चाहिए सब नॉर्म्स, जो इंटरपर्सनल रिलेशंस के हिसाब से समझना चाहिए कि भाई रियलिस्टिक होकर के काम होना चाहिए। वी शुड हैव रियलिस्टिक एप्रिसिएशन ऑफ द कैंडिडेट्स, नॉट एन आइडियल कि सब पढ़ के आया तो पूरा एकदम वॉमिट कर दे आपके सामने। इट्स इम्पॉसिबल। आप प्री डिसाइडेड पहले हो जाते हैं, प्री कंसीव्ड हो जाते हैं, तो आपको एसेस करने की भी जरूरत नहीं होती है। क्यों शहजाद साहब पहले से डिसाइड कर लिया कि शहजाद साहब को नहीं लेना है, तब शहजाद साहब इंटरव्यू अच्छा दें, क्या फर्क पड़ेगा उनको?
क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, पहले से डिसाइडेड है। बिल्कुल,
ये भी
अगर ऐसा हो तो
ये बायस
नहीं लेना तो नहीं लेना।
अच्छा, आप डिसाइड करते हैं ना, कभी कभी ऐसा भी हो जाता है इंटरव्यू में
जी
कि आपने डिसाइड कर लिया कि इनको नहीं लेना, और उसने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, आप मजबूर हो जाते हैं बोलने के लिए,
मजबूर होते हैं
सेम पर्सन शुड बी सिलेक्टेड। अब बाहर निकल के खुद बोलते हैं, हम तो सोचे नहीं कि वो लड़का इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म करेगा, ही डिड वेरी वेल एंड वाइस चांसलर वाज अप्रिशिएटिव ऑफ हिज परफॉर्मेंस। ऐसा भी हो जाता है कभी कभी, तो 1 in 100 होता है। नेक्स्ट ज्यादातर केस में ऐसा होता है, कैंडिडेट्स को नर्वस कर दिया, मेरा काम हो गया, हमको जिसको लेना है ले लेंगे।
Yes, that happens. बिल्कुल sir.
Dr.
बिल्कुल.
Bushra, there is some question from you, Dr. Bushra Abbasi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir,
Assalamu alaikum.
actually, it is not a question. I only want to share my experience of local selection committee. Actually, it happens that whenever I'm not able to answer the first question
कनेक्शन
of
नंबर है
the interviewer, the
अकाउंट
same
नंबर
time I feel
ये
अरे सर वो
underconfidence. I lose my
ये कह रहा था
confidence, and
कोई बात
if
नहीं,
it
आप
happens that
आप
I answer,
अरे यार उसको और तो
उनके
टूटा
सामने
हुआ है
हमेशा
वैसे
बोलिए डॉक्टर बुशरा,
G,
हम
and
थोड़ा
if it
नर्वस।
happens that I answer the first question, I feel very confident, and the rest of the interviews goes very well. तो वो
अच्छा,
अभी जो फैज भाई कह रहे थे ना कि पहला सवाल जो आता है और उस पे अगर आप कॉन्फिडेंस लूज कर गए
एग्जैक्टली
तो फिर पूरा इंटरव्यू।
नहीं
जी
ये
जी,
तो
यही
फैक्ट
मैं
है।
कहना चाह रही हूँ।
सुनिए, देखिए एक चीज और आपको बताते हैं, कंपटीशन में क्या होता है,
जी
कभी कभी जो बड़े हाई स्टेक्स कंपटीशन है, जहाँ नीट है, जहाँ बीटेक का कंपटीशन है, आईआईटी का है या मेडिकल का कंपटीशन है, तो फर्स्ट 15 क्वेश्चंस अगर लड़के ने ठीक से अटेम्प्ट कर लिया तो वो हावी हो जाता है दूसरे क्वेश्चंस पर। लेकिन अगर 15 क्वेश्चंस में वो फंस गया तो उसका 10 क्वेश्चन आगे खराब हो जाता है। वो तो रिटर्न में भी होता है ऐसी बात, राइट? नॉट ओनली उस, वहां तो इंटरव्यू नहीं लिया जा रहा है, लेकिन इतना तैयारी करने के बाद भी जाता है। और कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि क्वेश्चन का नेचर ऐसा हो जाता है कि फर्स्ट 5-10 क्वेश्चन शहजाद साहब उसने ठीक से अटेम्प्ट कर लिया, राइट क्वेश्चन चूज कर लिया उस टाइम, तो उसका कॉन्फिडेंस इतना बढ़ा रहता है कि नेक्स्ट डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस को भी हैंडल कर सकता है वो। और ठीक
बिल्कुल
उल्टा
बिल्कुल
कि फर्स्ट 5-7 उसका खराब हो गया तो नेक्स्ट 10 भी उसका खराब हो जाता है, जो जानता हुआ भी सिली मिस्टेक्स कर लेता है वहां पर। तो ये तो बहुत नेचुरल है सब चीजें होना, लेकिन रिटर्न में होता है, वहां तो कोई इंटरव्यू लेने वाला नहीं है आपका, लेकिन ये तो वहां भी हो जाता है ऐसे। ये तो डिस्पोजिशन पर डिपेंड करता है आपके इस पर कि कैसे उस टाइम हैंडल किया जाए। कभी कभी आपको कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है उस मोमेंट में जाकर के, 2 सेकंड 3 सेकंड के लिए आपको अपने आप को कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है कि हम नर्वस हमको नहीं होना है, हमको जवाब ठीक से देना है, ऐसा भी होता है। तो ये भी एक फैक्टर है।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। सर ऐसा भी होता है जब कभी इंटरव्यूअर जो है ये बोल देते हैं कि इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ, तो वहां से भी कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्टअप हो जाता है सर। और जो है तो जब तक आप अपने को इंट्रोड्यूस कराते हैं उतने में आप जो है जो आपका एक
उतने में आप सोच लेते हैं कि उनको जब इंट्रोड्यूस कराते हैं उतने में आप सोच लेते हैं कि अब हम कैसे आगे करने वाले हैं, ऐसा भी होता है, ऐसा भी
जी
होता है।
जी
और
जी सर।
उसमें भी अगर आपने प्रिसाइज 3-4 लाइन का ठीक से इंट्रोडक्शन दे दिया, राइट, कि वहां पर गिराया, लास्ट लाइन वहां गिराया जहां से सवाल शुरू हो जाए, तो वो तरीका सबसे अच्छा होता है। ये हमको हमारे टीचर ने बताया था, आसिम अली साहब थे यहाँ इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट में, जो कि अभी वहाँ कनाडा में प्रोफेसर हैं, और सब लोग जानते हैं, शहजाद साहब भी जानते हैं, उनके पढ़ चुके हैं,
जी हम जानते हैं उनको जी।
फैज जैदी साहब भी पढ़ चुके हैं। तो उन्होंने बताया था कि जब इंट्रोड्यूस करते रहे उसी वक्त एक लास्ट लाइन ऐसा बोलिए कि आपका सवाल वहीं से फिर दूसरा स्टार्ट हो जाए।
एग्जैक्टली सर, बिल्कुल
जी।
थैंक यू
Sir,
डॉक्टर हेना
sir,
परवीन, यस जी।
sir, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not doctor.
अच्छा
only,
अच्छा, कुछ में किसी
I'm
में
TGT.
डॉक्टर हो रहा था, किसी में हो रहा, तो हमने सोचा कि डॉक्टर ही लगा दे सेफ साइड के लिए। जी
Okay, sir, I wish to be. Sir, like sometime it happens like during the interview when the question has been asked, and that particular question has different approaches, means different possible answers. So I have given, like I am taking my examples rather here. Okay, I have given the answer, but the interviewer is repeating the question. Then I given the another answer for the same question. Then again the same question repeated. So I didn't get to know that what exactly they want to hear.
आप
So
पूछ सकते हैं, बड़ा courteous way में पूछ सकते हैं कि what exactly is your question, sir? Can you repeat it? I'm not able to make out.
So like in the pedagogies and child psychology, different approaches are there for one common point. So this interviewer doesn't clear it what exactly they want to hear, which approach,
ऐसा हो
whether they
जाता
want
है,
to hear the
ऐसा
scientific
you're
approach.
right कि आप सही जवाब
Also
देते हुए भी
happens.
जो है सामने वाले को अगर इसकी नॉलेज नहीं हो तो
Yes, sir. And after
कैंडिडेट
coming out
इफेक्ट हो
from
जाता
the
है।
room, then I realized that maybe they wanted to hear some scientific method or which approach they wanted to hear, or practical or experiential,
नहीं,
which
उसमें
we
उसका
experience in classroom.
देखिए मिस है ना, उसका
Yes.
तरीका यही है कि आप बड़े ऑथेंटिक वे में किताब का नाम बताएं, ऑथर का नाम बता दें, ईयर बता दें, इस किताब में ये पेज नंबर पे अगर मालूम है तो, अगर कभी ऐसा होता है कभी कैंडिडेट्स बता देते हैं और तब वहां पर जो एक्सपर्ट है वहां चुप हो जाते हैं, ऐसा भी देखा गया।
Okay, sir.
ऐसा भी देखा गया।
Okay, sir.
Instead of
So,
going for an argument, right? You say that
yes.
I have read this book authored by this person, and in this chapter he has discussed this thing. अब उसके बाद किसी को बोलना बड़ा मुश्किल काम होता है, unless he has read the same book.
Okay, sir.
True,
Yes.
true, Rashid bhai, true.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
true.
sir.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Sir, this is Nashaba Yasmin.
Yes. Please.
Sir, the session was quite good and it was quite interesting. Sir, I would like to say something about it.
Yes, please.
सर जैसे आपने सबसे पहले एक आर्टिकल हम लोग को शो किया वो करण थापर का, जहाँ पर उन्होंने कहा था कि इंटरव्यूअर और इंटरव्यूई दे आर सिटिंग ऑन द सेम प्लेटफॉर्म. सर ये पूरा ही सेशन
ये
जो हमारे
लोकल सिलेक्शन
21
कमेटी
days
या
का
जनरल सिलेक्शन कमेटी के लिए नहीं है, ये पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन था, उसके लिए था.
नहीं सर आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट.
Yes.
सर आई एम सेइंग दिस, ये पूरा ही सेशन जो हमारा ये ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग का सेशन है ये मेनली फोकस कर रहा है कम्युनिकेशन और स्किल्स और लैंग्वेज यूज इन दैट कम्युनिकेशन एंड ऑल.
जी.
सर सिर्फ ये फोकस कर रहा है हमारे और स्टूडेंट के बीच में. सर ये हमारे और अथॉरिटीज के बीच में भी यही सब चीजें तो मैटर करती हैं,
क्यों नहीं मैटर
लेकिन
करती
उन
है?
चीजों को एक्नॉलेज नहीं किया जाता है और हम कन्वीनियंट
लेकिन
नहीं फील करते हैं अपने अथॉरिटी से बात करने में या फिर अपनी
ये
प्रॉब्लम शेयर करने में.
ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सवाल है आपका, और बहुत ही क्रूशियल सवाल है. हमको लगता है कि बहुत ही सिग्निफिकेंट है इन टर्म्स ऑफ के कम्युनिकेशन जहां पर होना चाहिए बिटवीन टीचर्स एंड अथॉरिटीज, और बहुत सारे कम्युनिकेशन होने से प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व हो जाता है, वो कम्युनिकेशन नहीं है. दैट इज अ वेरी सॉरी स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स. यस, आई डू अंडरस्टैंड.
सर यहाँ पर स्टूडेंट और टीचर का तो हम कॉर्डियल रिलेशनशिप क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन टीचर और हायर अथॉरिटीज के बीच में भी ऐसे ही रिलेशनशिप होना चाहिए कि जहाँ पर वो बिल्कुल अपने कन्वीनियंटली अपनी बात को कह सकें, अपनी प्रॉब्लम शेयर कर सकें. और अथॉरिटीज की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होनी चाहिए कि हमें भी एज अ लर्नर ही समझें कि हम भी ये लर्निंग स्टेज में हैं. और हम थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ चुके हैं एक्सपीरियंस के हिसाब से, बट स्टिल वी आर लर्नर्स.
ट्रू. That is why I have kept that topic. ये जो है बहुत जगह पर there are so many gaps in communication, और वो gaps जो है नॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन वाले एंगल से कभी सेटिस्फाई नहीं होता है. You have to move beyond that framework.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Right? आपके बहुत सारे आपको लगता है.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Wonderful session. बहुत अच्छा. Thank you.
So nice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
sir. Thanks, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.